I actually wanted to probably figure this out on my own. This actually hooks in underneath the armor plating. So if you want him kind of like he's... What? Whoops. If you want to look like he's flying, we bent him a little too far. I think I'm missing an armor piece. Alright, so the joy of ball joint figures. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes that happens. Listen up, Rangers. Welcome to the Geek Chest. My name's Steve, and today we'll be going over the Bandai Tamashii Edition's SH MonsterArts Liolaeus. I hope I said Liolaeus? Because it's like Aether, right? So it would be Liolaeus, I'm assuming. Or you may know as the Rathalos, which I also come to find out that this is a boy. Because if you guys didn't know, I don't know much about Monster Hunter. I just think these things look super sweet, and they're Durgans. So, and me and my wife love us some Durgans. Not sure why I call them Durgans. They're dragons. But anyways. But this is essentially the most recognizable Monster Hunter creature there is. At least to my understanding. Like, this is definitely the most grabby one. So decided to grab it, especially since I really love the MonsterArts line. I kind of just mostly hop on anything they generally make anyways. And at the price point, seemed pretty reasonable because he was like 90-ish bucks, a little over 90. The killer on him was shipping, because as you guys can see, the box is huge. He came in about the same size package as my King Ghidorah did last year. So, for this year, it's been a long year. I think we'll look back at that. But anyways, this thing's a monster in all aspects of the word. But anyways, I'll show you guys next to King Ghidorah, but this thing, for the size, it's pretty darn impressive. But anyways, without further ado, for the packaging, actually I like this a little bit better than the Nargacuga. Again, it's really dark, but you get a nice shot of the Rathalos here doing its little fire breath thing. Top of the package, got it with its roar. You can still see the wing from the front of the package. Side of the package, more of the same, but kind of looks more like flaming colors. You get the name there. Bottom of the package, another shot of the dragon. Back of the package, just shows you some of the stuff you can do with it, the pose, the stand, the really pretty art here, which I think the Nargacuga was like hanging out here, but they kind of cut it out. Also has the slashes on the side here too, so you can kind of see the figure inside of it if it was in there. But we definitely did an unboxing of this. And then some stuff I can't understand and some legal mumbo jumbo. But anyways, since we got it opened up out of its cardboard prison, let's get into it. Alright, so now that we got the Rathalos opened up out of its cardboard prison, first and foremost, we'll start with its accessories, which currently has one of them in its mouth. Which what we have here is the flame effect, where it's kind of about to do the fire. It's building up inside of its mouth, which has a really nice orange hue to it. Not too much else really going on. Like, there's a little bit of reds and oranges in there, but not super vibrant. But anyways, how you just get this into the back of the mouth, you can kind of see the way the teeth grooves are. You literally just open its mouth as wide as you can, shove it in there, and then it kind of just holds itself in there with friction, which looks cool. Might have been cooler to actually have like a flame effect shooting out of it. But then again, it's not like there's like, we got like Monster Hunter figures to really like go along with it. So I kind of like it. Like, it's definitely unique for MonsterArts figures. Because usually like you get the full on blast. There's not too often you actually get accessories to kind of like show that it's going to do its thing, which I can get behind. But anyways, let's go grab the rest of the accessories because they're currently still in the box. All right, got all the accessories out. We'll go over the wings here in a second. But it does come with its own little fancy stand, which is cool. Which... Okay, I was going to say, those are kind of some weird lined up holes. But you do get some little cradles for hooking stuff into. I think these are... Okay, so that's for the wings. I'm assuming that's actually for the Rathalos, which is kind of what I'm thinking that's for. You get, there's two cradles. There's also an extra little piece here with a ball joint on it. Probably should have messed around. Oh, so that goes on there. Oh, neat. So just go in the hole. Neat! How does that hook up? Oh, it goes on his crotch. I can already kind of tell. So that hooks right here. Hey, that's pretty cool. I'm saying, hey. I guess if you don't want them super high off the ground, oh, that actually stays on pretty well. So if you just want them like a little bit off the ground, that actually works pretty good. Decently secure. Plus, since it's on a ball joint, you can kind of angle it a bit if you want to. So that's sweet. This one I'm a little more curious how that hooks into. I would think that is not remotely how that works. Hold on a second. Where's my instructions? It's supposed to lean forward, and then that hooks in here is how that is supposed to work. So then, for this, we hook that here. Then this, as the instructions shows, can go underneath to kind of prop up the tail, which that hooks into here. Now with the wings that it has from the package, it stays on okay. I wouldn't trust it to really hold itself up though for very long. Like that's, no, to be fair, that's actually going above and beyond my expectations. I was kind of thinking that was going to tip off. Still would definitely recommend using these. Which these, just like with the Ghidorah, are for its wings. So you hook these on the outside. And then for these ones, I don't think it's going to be quite necessary. Also, these should rotate. Okay, these rotate. We can kind of sit the wings inside of here so that it'll help keep it in the place. But these are primarily going to be for the giant wings. But we'll go over the figure here first, and then I'll pop the wings back on. Then we'll come back to the base. All right, so for the actual creature, head sculpt looks awesome. You got the beak here on the front with a little bit of its black. So you got the kind of like the little goatee thing going on the undersection of its chin. Teeth are nicely painted, both on the bottom and on the top. Got the tongue on the inside, which I don't... Oh, it is articulated. So that's cool. So you can actually pose that around. Interesting. Did it break or did that just pop? Okay, it just popped off. One thing, like I was mentioning, it's a ball joint figure, so these things happen. But it does have a lot of tiny ball joints. So, like... that pops up pretty easy. He actually has an issue. This foot in particular gives me some fits. We'll also go over one issue I've seen happen and the reason why it happens. So just so you guys are aware, if you guys are going to be playing around with this guy, that it could be a possibility. But for the rest of the dragon, it's also got a little fluff there. The paint job here is primarily reds and blacks with some varying shades here and there, but lots of spiky bits. Gives it a really nice gnarly expression. Eyes are done in a metallic blue, which the pupil on this one is super defined, while on the other one, it's kind of a little bit more forward facing. Like looking at it from the front, it's a little bit more noticeable, but on the side, it kind of blends in with the rest of the eye. It's not quite as defined as the other one, but it's definitely there. With the undersection done in a more gray color, where you get some browns and sands here in some of the sections of the wings. Same with like on the feet, you get a little bit more like that yellowing color. And then some stripes here for the wing section on the bottom. The top of the wings got a lot more reds on them, but more or less the same kind of stripe pattern here coming down the sides. Moving down to the tail where you get that giant gnarly spiky protrusions here. Definitely wouldn't want to get nailed with this thing. Kind of reminds me of like those old-fashioned maces. And even has like a little stinger looking thing on the bottom here. Again, haven't played much of the game, so that could be a stinger. I'd have to look it up. But I wanted like these reviews to be fairly honest. So for the most part, I'm just kind of going off of just the way the thing looks. And I'm assuming it can fly. Found out the Nargacuga can only glide, but in like some of the older games, it could fly like from location to location. but it had wings that were useless. So yeah, I've seen this thing fly around before, and then foot popped off. But anyways, the claws on the feet look really nice too. Got black for the nails here. You got some more spiky bits for the spines, and it has like this little cross pattern on the chest here. And overall, like, really nicely detailed figure. Like, this thing, posability wise, we'll get into it in a second, but just in terms of like the color variety, the detailing, this thing looks pretty freaking intimidating. Now, for the foot here, just like I said, pops off pretty easy. And one thing I want to point out here, if you guys do decide to get this, to my understanding, this isn't supposed to move. Now, it seems some people, like, this breaks off, or people are trying to mess around with it, but it's like, we'll find that part in a minute. But you'll see here that there's some barbs on it. And then the ball joint goes into that for the foot, and then that itself is where it moves around. Now, the reason why it has these, from what I can tell, is on the this section of the foot here, you'll see that there's two little crevices on the side, which is where these two kind of go into. Now, my theory is this was probably supposed to be glued in, or good possibility that it was supposed to be glued in, but because it's not, it kind of just sits there. And then this part kind of works like its own joint, but I don't think it was really intended to be moved. So when you're moving this thing around, you primarily want to focus at the foot here. This section back here, at least on mine, like you can see, it's already popping back off. It's a bit of a butt, because I got to kind of like push in from the back of the foot here to really get into it. But this only really here for a rotation mainly. The toes you can kind of move around, but for the most part, like this section here is kind of like, it's joints, but it's kind of dead to me. And it should be to you as well. But for its articulation, its head can look up about that far, down about that far. Get really nice side to side, but the wings kind of get in the way. But you can definitely move it side to side. Rotate that bad boy all the way around. Jaw can open and close. You can get it more open, but it kind of depends on your pose for the most part, because it's kind of got to look down. You can kind of move the upper jaw up to really get that thing roaring. For the arms, you can go up really high. Not too much of a down motion, but a lot of that has to do mainly with the wing here. But you can bend it at the elbow. This can move. These are on ball joints, but for the most part, don't really shift around. It's mainly like your articulations here, and then it kind of just goes with the rest of it. Same with here. Like this one's actually pretty loose, so it kind of just moves around on its own for the most part. But you can get the wing to move forward and back. You can get it to rotate. For the chest region here, you go forward and back, a little bit side to side. Legs, go outwards about that far. Inwards about that far. Decent forward kick. Really nice back kick. Same with the knees. Can go forward and back. You also get a rotation up here at the top. Pretty much. Oop, that popped off. Uh-oh. Okay, just pop that off again. It can rotate here. It's not even. It can rotate here, but it's not easy. That leg just, God, it gives me fits. Like nothing wants to stay on. And then for the tail, you can move side to side, move up about that far. Same with the little stinger bit here. You can go up really high, go downwards about that far without it really resetting itself. The toes are all on ball joints, so you get decent play there. You can go forward and back. Rotation mainly for the back foot here. So yeah, super posable. Now, for the giant wing bits, getting these on, which, just double checking, but that should be for here, right? So we got to pop these off. So they're on ball joints. I haven't removed these yet, but you're going to want to kind of grab at the base of the wing, base of the joint, and then try to pop it out without rotating it too hard, because if you do, you're going to cause problems. Just like this one really doesn't want to pop out. Same with on the bottom here too. Just grab it at the base where the ball joint's at, pop it out, grab it at the base, pop it out, move the wing back a little bit, grab it at the base. That one popped out real easy. Top one popped out. Okay. Now, got our sort of wingless dragon. Grabbing the big section here, but line it up, then apply a little bit of pressure. Middle one's in, top one not so much. Uh-oh. Oh, SpaghettiOs. All right, popping it back out. You want that rotating forward, it seems. And then pop that in. Up too high. There we go. Okay, so then that's like that. So you can kind of get it up right. Okay, that makes more sense. Same with hole. This is adding some heft. You already got like instantly heavier. All right, so forward. So it might be easier to do this from the back. But you'll see the two ball joint holes. You just want to line it up. Pop it in. Then let your wing go up. And then these ones. Just trying to see which one's the back and the front. Pop that in. That one actually went in really easy. Ball joint sitting under here. Pop it in. That one's a little more subtle. But now we got Rathalos, full wings, and actually weighs a lot more now. Grabbing the stand to try and set this up. Cup the wing. Find where the back joint's at. So that goes there. Tail goes here. These we want to shift around. Whoo, got it all together. It's a bit of a chore. That wing's like the size of my hand now. To be fair, this is probably gonna be like my preferred way of posing this guy. I do like the more solid wings in here just to give it a little bit more giganticness, I guess is the word I'm looking for. Because these are more for like if you're gonna have them like prowling around or something. Well, if you're gonna have it actually like displayed like it's flying, definitely the way to go. And then actually holds itself together pretty well. It's just this one's kind of a little bit of a loose ball joint of mine, so any kind of subtle play is going to get that to tip in a little bit. But still, really awesome look. And something I wish they would have done for the King Ghidorah when it first came out, the 2019 figure. Here's some good comparisons. Here we have the Rathalos compared next to some other SH MonsterArts characters, well, from different genres anyways, with the Monster Hunter Rathalos and the Godzilla King of the Monsters, Burning Godzilla, who, sadly enough, is only like, what, about $20 cheaper than this guy? Yeah. Here are the Rathalos compared next to some other large MonsterArts figures with the 2019 Ghidorah and the Shin Godzilla, which, that's pretty close. Not like the same size, but pretty damn close. Hey, here is some other, well, recently reviewed and getting reviewed figures of the Figma Warrior Bug from Starship Troopers Trader on Mars and the Evangelion Unit 8 BICC from the newest Evangelion film. Which makes me sad because both of these guys were, well, he was a little cheaper, which kind of makes sense because there's a lot going on with that guy. These two were the same price. For shame, Figma. And here's some random figures in my collection with the Lightning Collection Lord Zed, specifically the Wedding 2-pack, and the EZ8 from Oath MS Team. And here's some more random comparisons with the Soul Shigoken Leopardon from the Japanese Spider-Man and the Chi-Chi, a kid version from Dragon Ball. So overall for the SH MonsterArts Monster Hunter Rathalos, this thing is amazing. Like for the price point, I don't think there's really any other Monster Hunter or MonsterArts figure that can really compete with it in terms of just overall size and what it comes with. Because this thing, Well, granted, not quite as big as, say, like the King Ghidorah when it first came out, and it isn't that much smaller. It's like next to like the Mothras and Batcher figures and stuff we got previously for like flying creatures. This thing far above blows those guys out of the water. And if you guys are just into monster arts, I think this is easily a cool enough figure to pick up. I don't even think you really got to be into monster art or Monster Hunter to really need to acquire this thing. Like if you just like dragons, easily one of the coolest dragon figures I've owned. The only real negative I gotta say is just the ball joints seem to want to pop off it pretty easily, and there is a couple of fairly fragile parts on this, primarily having to do with the legs and the wings, but as long as you're careful with it, shouldn't be too much of a concern. But what do you guys think? If you guys picked up this figure, what's your favorite Monster Hunter creature or his destiny? Just somewhere you think, please let us know in the comments. We also have an Instagram, Patreon, Pinterest, Facebook. Guys like to keep up to date with channel donate. We greatly appreciate it. And help us defeat those kaijus by hitting that like button, subscribe, become a ranger today. See you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.